Hello, everyone. I was on YouTube the last couple of weeks, but I missed it. I missed being on TikTok because I have so many people here that have followed for years, and I miss seeing all the familiar. So this account, Beatrix, my first one was you-know-whatted when I had 300,000 followers and 700 videos, and that was November 10th, 2024. So I started a new account the next day, and this is that account. So this is my second TikTok account. So, and I finally, I guess because my old screen name went back into the pot, I was able to catch it back. So I do have the very same screen name that I started off with, Glam Ham Radio. I don't have to be Glam Ham 2.0 any longer. I know. Well, I have followers here all the way back from 2021. So hello. So bring on, you can ask any radio questions. Hello, Alpha Foxtrot 5 in Texas, Dallas, Texas. I did stand-up comedy in Texas to 700 dentists. Let me tell you, was an experience. Hello, Paul. Hello. Thank you, Beatrix. I appreciate that. Well, hello, White Matters. Good to see you. Hello, Germany. Deutschland. Hello, Guten Tag. Or Guten Abend, probably right now. I lived in Germany for a while when I was on a NATO airbase where I was a disc jockey. So I probably had the best job on the whole base. That was for Canadian Forces Air Base in Baden-Württemberg. Hello, Salvatore. Hello, India Uniform 8. Good to see all you hams in the live. And anyone who's not a ham radio operator, we get really such a cross-section of people from all over the world in the live. You can ask any radio questions. There is no radio question that is like too silly or too dumb. We have all had the radio questions, so we generally learn quite a bit in the live. We talk about little handheld radios and what purpose they've served. We talk about the big HF radios. Father Duo says I have to be an alien. Oh my gosh, I watched a very good movie last night, and oh my gosh, what was it even called? It's Emma Stone's new movie. And it just came on, hence I didn't see the title, but it was brilliant and the acting was brilliant. And all I'm going to say is Father Duo's comment is very appropriate for that movie. So it's Emma Stone's new movie. It was so good with Jesse Plemons, who's just a brilliant actor. Yes, Lady C. So I think you might have commented and you said, I believe you have the H3. So these radios are in my TikTok showcase. I didn't add links to them because I would like to add links in the live, but TikTok has this sensitivity that if I dare to talk about another radio that TikTok doesn't carry, they get really mad at me. So I haven't had them, but these are in my TikTok showcase, which is on the profile page. Yes, Father Duo. It's the one where she's the CEO, and both Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons are absolutely brilliant. I can't remember the name of the film either. Anyone who has watched Emma Stone's new movie, we're not giving any spoilers, but Father Duo just said, oh, I thought you must be an alien. Which is an interesting comment, but I'm not an alien. Let's not start those conspiracies. But that's the clue for Emma Stone's new movie. Hello. Hello. Echo Alpha 4, good to see you. Hello, Chicken Slushy. I recognize some of these screen names. That is why it's so much fun to come back to TikTok. That's it, Bergonia. That is it. Well done. So that movie was so good. I would say it was one of the best movies I've seen for a while. I watched it last night. Not going to give any spoilers, but it really had me guessing, and it was really a good movie. Bergonia, and that's with Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. Cool. Hello, Terry. Hello, Kilo Delta. 0. Didn't know if that was an O there. Hello, Oklahoma. I saw you sneak in. I saw your finger already going there. So, hello. Good to see you, John. So, Oklahoma WX, in radio, WX is weather. So, Oklahoma, who is waving to us here, great account to follow, avid ham radio operator, generally all-round good dude. John, and he gets up to a lot of stuff like POTA, where you take your radios out. POTA is Parks on the Air, and there's so many things people don't realize about the ham radio hobby, and POTA is one of those, where you can literally, even a little radio like this, people thinking, well, I've got a radio, what can I do with it? POTA is something you can do with your very first ham radio license. Let's see what 2389. Australia seems to have tight restrictions on ham radios. What's a good starting radio for Aussies? You know, there's an account I recommend if you are in Australia. The account you want to follow is Ham Radio DX. He has it all sewn up for Australia. I think he's actually in Tasmania, but he covers sort of the rules and regulations of Australia, which I'm not sure if those are different than Tasmania, but definitely follow him. Hello, Greece. Good to see you. Sierra Victor 8. Oh, thank you, Sean the Blanca. Love the shack. I love the shack as well. We call it the Glam Shack. It is packed with so much gear. You have no idea how much gear. Behind me this direction, which I'm not going to show you because they're so messy, I have about 20 handheld radios. So it looks like someone's balding head with these strands of hair behind me, like a head of ham radios that has 20 hairs on it. Thank you, Todd. I am originally from Birmingham, UK, so there's the British you can pick up in my accent. Costa Blanca, Valencia, good to see you. Golf for Oscar. Valencia, I did a lot of videos on the flooding, the terrible flooding that you guys had in Valencia. I really hope you have recovered from that. That was some very dramatic and catastrophic situation, and all of our hearts over here went out to you because we had Hurricane Helene not too long before that. Hello, Pikachu. Good to see you. Hello, South Carolina. It is a MIDI keyboard. I absolutely love music stuff as well. So I actually make quite a bit of the music that's in my videos. And sometimes I remember to put a little note that I made the music. The Dana, that's right, the Dana with the water. So, Kilo 8 Golf. Somebody said, what do you do with this radio? So the big question I have for these radios, again, these are in my TikTok showcase, this is the H3 model by TID Radio. This is the H8. When you buy them on TikTok, they are direct from the manufacturer, so you're definitely getting authentic product. So the reason I recommend these, you can actually do 3 different types of radio on this. So the big question I have for anyone who's wanting the radio comms is, do you plan to get any license? Because that affects what frequencies that you transmit on. That is the big thing with radio licenses. It's not about controlling people or tracking people, because if you want to know about tracking, there is nothing that tracks you more than this puppy. In the whole world, this is what tracks you everywhere you go. So people who are worried about tracking, if you have a cell phone, you're kind of already tracked, basically. So radios can be tracked while you're transmitting by what's called triangulation, where, I mean, that's the most basic way people can track radios, is you have multiple antennas. That's what they did with the number station. You guys probably saw me do some videos on the Farsi language number stations coming in. Well, people over in Europe triangulated those number stations and revealed they were not broadcasting from within Iran. So it was not what people were fearful of in the United States of, oh my gosh, are they activating sleeper cells? It was the other way around. It was people from outside of Iran communicating in Farsi to inside of Iran. And Iran actually tried to jam those with what's called bubble jammers. So it was a very interesting situation, but the reason they were able to find out, wait a minute, that number station is not coming from within Iran is because of triangulation. And you're able to see, I mean, we do it as a sport in ham radio. We do what's called fox hunting, and you can take an antenna and the transmitter, which could be, you know, simply something like another radio. They'll go and string it up in a tree, or they'll hide it in a bush, and you go to a park or a forest, and you can just turn your directional antenna around. Even with a little handheld, you can make yourself a directional antenna. I made one from a PVC pipe and a metal tape measure, or you can buy one for really cheap. But it's very simple. That's how you triangulate signals and locate them, is you turn the antenna, and you can find wherever it's strong, that is where the person is transmitting from. So when people ever, which is very foolish to do, but if people are foolish enough to break a regulation to do with radio frequencies, that's how they find them, is triangulation. They also have way more advanced stuff now that they use for cell phones that are called stingrays, where they'll drive around and they can just scan all the cell phones and stuff like that. So back to the question. So Daryl says, how far can you transmit on a handheld? Great question. So the little one is 5 watts. And to give you an idea, I have had a conversation 60 miles away. Radio to radio, which we call simplex communication, is radio to radio, but 60 miles between. How did I do that? Because that is very unusual. From a 5-watt radio, I did it because I was high up. I went on a hike. So anytime you're operating small radios like this, you're always going to be looking at frequencies that are higher than these guys. These will contact hundreds or even thousands of miles away. I've spoken 5,000 miles away multiple times on these radios. But for these guys, height is might. So the higher you are, if you ever have an emergency with this, you want to get somewhere high. If you're in a valley, you want to try and get yourself on top of a hill, up high in a building, open the window, you know, and face whichever direction you're trying to communicate to. So yeah, 60 miles I got. Now, if I was on the ground in a city, I'd be looking at 2 to 5 miles probably. But what they have in cities is they have what's called repeaters, where they put those, exactly as the Glam aunt says, you can have repeaters up on hills and mountains and buildings. Then you can contact really as high as that repeater can see, line of sight approximately. So you could maybe easily get 50 miles away, as long as you can, they call it hit the repeater. As long as you can hit the repeater, which means as long as your little radio from wherever you are can contact that repeater, which maybe means it's within 5 to 10 miles away, and you're somehow facing it approximately line of sight, like if there's a building this way and you hit it, and you know, then you can get way further, because once you hit that repeater, then you hit wherever it gets. Hello, Steve Somerset. I've started to do them at 3:30, Steve, because I have so many people in Europe and in Ireland and lots of countries in Europe that come in the live, and I feel really guilty starting at 4 o'clock because it's so late. So programmer Sean says, what radio for 120 kilometers away, tight city, no repeater? That is very difficult then, to be honest with you. If you're in a city and you have no repeater, I mean, then you're really looking at HF radio, because that's going to put you about, I guess, 80 miles away, 90 miles away. So you're going to be looking at more this type of a radio, and it's a big jump in price. But for UHF, VHF radios, which is what these are, if you're in a city and you're down on the ground surrounded by buildings, you are not going to be able to communicate 120 kilometers away, unfortunately. But that's what HF radios for, is more the long distance. Oh, CJ, that's great. Ham radio prep as well is where I studied, and they now give an amazing discount. They give a 20% off with code GLAM. I studied there, and there's no easier place to study for your United States license. Hello, I talk. That is a great screen name. Thank you. So the lady that I know a lady wrote to me, I'm not sure if that's in the live, who said, I don't know what to do with my radio. So you get your radio. What do you do with your radio? And again, the question is, are you going to get a license? Obviously, 100%, I think everybody should become a ham radio operator, because it's an amazing privilege and a bargain price of $35 the FCC charges, and your license is good for 10 years. Can you imagine? There is not much left in life. That's like 1 cup of coffee a year. If you don't have that cup of coffee at a Starbucks or something, you can have a ham radio license that you paid for. And as long as you keep it renewed, which is another $35 every 10 years, you never ever have to test again. So what is the downside? Why doesn't everybody become a ham radio operator? You say, if it's so great, Glam, why isn't everybody a ham? Because it takes a little bit of effort. You have to study and take a test. And a lot of people immediately are just too busy, or, oh, I'm not interested. And it's not super fun studying for the test if you're like, I had no background in electronics, so it was a new language I had to learn. Things was like, you know, what, a diode? I have to answer a question with the word diode. This is going to be very tricky, but I did it, and I learned about it, and I continue to learn. It's well worth the effort, is what I will say. And again, that's the school I recommend. It's in my bio, and you'll see all the information in my bio there. It opens up the world of radio. Ham radio opens up not only the world of radio in education, in emergency communications, and being able to talk to so many licensed operators, about 3.5 million licensed operators around the world, like a phenomenal community, global, no politics, like 99% of the time. The etiquette of ham radio is no religion, no politics. It's like you're going to dinner at someone's house. There's a nice etiquette 99% of the time. Yeah, you get some bad apples, but usually not. So as well as that is all the learning that goes with it, and the most frequencies. You have literally thousands of frequencies that you can communicate on when you get your ham radio license. But what if you're like, no, I just don't have any time to study? Well, guess what? You can still get one of these radios and still get yourself covered for emergency communications, and that is called GMRS. GMRS. It's one of those things that people don't talk about too much. There's a few sort of designated creators, but pretty rare. It's like, to me, a little bit of the FCC sneaky secret is you can get yourself set up, even up to 50 watts, which, trust me, is plenty to cover your citywide communications. 50 watts is really good. It's called General Mobile Radio Service, and you get a license. So you do need a license, and they will issue you a call sign, but you don't have to study and take a test. You literally just search FCC GMRS license, you go get it, and the best thing about it, it's the exact same price as a ham radio license, $35 for 10 years, but your family can share your call sign, which again is really incredible. I mean, I will say people moan about the government, and I get it, but it is actually really good what the FCC does. I think with ham radio, when we're allowed to use frequencies that the military would love, I mean, they would love all those frequencies. The telecommunications industry, you know, your cell phone companies would love all the frequencies. But ham radio operators get a protected slices called bands, slices of frequencies, and those are called bands, ham bands, and we get those all included once we are licensed. We don't pay any extra for them. This is amazing. Hello for X-ray. That looks a strange call sign with 2 numbers, but maybe it's a typo, more Hanukkah. But the GMRS, there is a way, and so you can use this radio for ham radio, you can use it for GMRS. There's different boot up options, which I have a video in my radio playlist. And then, hello, Big E. Hello, good to see you. No Morse code is required anymore for a ham radio license. Great question. BT Dave brought that up, and thanks Oklahoma for answering that. So you used to have to learn Morse code, and thank goodness, truthfully, you don't now. I know a lot of the older ham radio operators, I can understand why they're a little bit annoyed that people can come into the hobby now without having to learn Morse code, but it makes it much more easy. Yes, you get sideband in ham radio as well. I'll go back to that because there's 3 licenses for ham radio, and then we've got the GMRS license I just told you about that you don't have to take a test. So for anybody who's like, I'm not interested in learning anything about ham radio, I'm not interested in studying, I just want a radio, get your GMRS license. Just pay for it. You don't take a test. You get to legally use up to 50 watts on designated channels, and you can share your call sign. There you go. Big E has got GMRS. I also have GMRS. I haven't really used it because, of course, I have the ham radio frequencies, but it's great to know that I have it. So that's an example of Big E's call sign. I've got mine over here somewhere. Let's have a look. Is this my call sign for my ham radio? I've got my ham radio license handy. Let's have a look. This is what it looks like when you get a license from the FCC. You get your very one. Oh, here's my call sign for GMRS. Is Whiskey Sierra Delta Papa 825. So they're quite long. I find them quite long. But hey, you only get one, so you can remember it. So yeah, as November 9 says, you can bounce a signal off the moon. There is literally endless fun stuff you can do with ham radio. That is what they are talking about. You can bounce signals off the moon. You can talk to the International Space Station. You can listen to them coming in on your receiver. That's quite challenging because they move at 5 miles a second up high, about 250 miles high, but you can catch them. I've done it, and you literally have to move your antenna slowly, and you hear them drift in and out, which is called the Doppler effect, where the frequency changes a bit as they sort of around either side of your radio, so you can tune up and tune down. So that is again, another one of those learning situations. So November 9 says, I like whisper. Well, what is whisper? It's, I think, and I'm sure N9 can correct me, but I believe it's weak signal propagation reporting. It's I think the first 3 of that. So N9, you can tell me weak signal. And they use milliwatts to test their antennas. In fact, when I went off grid for 8 days back in, I think it was 2022 in the Arizona desert, which was an amazing life experience. They do that every year in the Arizona desert. Hundreds of ham radio operators go, and you just have to take everything you need. It is fully off grid. There is no water, no electricity, so people go in RVs. They do have porta potties for people in tents, but you still got to take everything. And everybody is on ham radios. Hello, Jessica. I know, I did my hair different. I get flack sometimes over my hair because I'm so nerdy with my gear. I don't like spending time on my appearance because there's too many other things. I have a list of things I want to do, and sometimes somebody will make a comment like, why don't you comb your hair? And if my mum sees my videos, my mum is always like, I just wish you would make an effort. So this is my level of effort that I'm willing to do. So Brigada, great question. What internal antenna do you have outside? Well, if I have a lot, first of all. Oh, well, thanks for sharing that, Jess. Now behave yourself. Oklahoma, you keep an eye. You're in charge of Jess, John. So I have a lot of antennas because obviously it's a hobby that I love and I'm a big radio nerd and very passionate about it. But what many people don't know is you can get an external antenna for these radios, and what that means is if you have a high place, you can put an antenna, whether it's a tree or whether it's a chimney or a rooftop. You get an external UHF VHF antenna. You can get a great one for under $100. I have mine linked in my bio. It's one by Comet, and all you do is you run it and you run the coax and you figure out creatively. One of the creative things you have to work out is, how do I get the coax indoors? How do I get coax from outside my home, inside my home, without knocking like ugly holes in your wall? Which I have done, but you don't have to do that. You can use something called window coax that is very clever, and it goes, all of my gear is linked in the bio as well. So you'll end up with this rooftop antenna or in a tree, wherever's high. And then you just get a little accessory cable inside, and lo and behold, that is how you can use a little 5-watt radio like this, and suddenly you're talking way further away, because this is not going to work indoors very well at all, because I've got the building around me. I've got all my interior metal desks and window frames, so it would work much better outside. But if I just have the antenna outside, truthfully, I could even use this antenna, and I could stick that outside, for example, on a mag mount, or just some way I could, stick it on the eave, or you just get creative, and you get the cable of coax going from there. You can either feed it through a hole, for example, where you already got your cable, or that sort of thing. You can have somebody put a hole in the wall, which I did, or you can just get the window coax, and then here you are in the house, and suddenly you've got amazing signal on your little radio. So a lot of people forget that they can do that. You can take off that antenna. So in the house, it's not going to work very well. I mean, you'd be able to talk locally, but you're going to have all the things blocked. So a bigger radio in the house, people call the base station. So if I turn this around here, that's my base station in the house. And that is a 50-watt radio. And I have that with a antenna on my roof, so I can hit the repeaters. I can hit all the repeaters around me, so I can pretty much communicate all over Los Angeles with that little radio. So yes, a lot of power loss, and I'm going to give you a secret. Very good point, Zero Foxtrot. They bring up a great point. When you use a long cable with radio, you are getting what's called signal loss. Well, the best way to there's 2 ways that you can really help yourself. Number 1, use the smallest amount of cable possible. If you've run cable and you're looping it over and over and over again, it means that you could have had way shorter cable. Believe it or not, with these big radios, it is less important. But when you get little radios, once you are in UHF and VHF, you're vulnerable to signal loss. So the type of cable you want to get is called LMR 400. It is excellent, it is not cheap, and it's very, very stiff. I could almost, let me see if I can reach some to show you. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. There is nothing in my ham shack that is not within arm's reach, no matter what you said. So this is LMR 400, and you see, this is not like floppy and bendy. It's very stiff, and I have got quite a few lengths of this that I've run to my antennas. For HF radio, which is high frequency, where you're going to talk hundreds or thousands of miles away, you actually don't need this expensive stuff. You can get by with, for example, RG8X type radio coax, which is much more floppy. You can see like this. right? So this is all of my HF radio coax looks like this. It's really like lightweight. It flops around nicely. Let's see what exact one this is. Dum dum dum. It's low loss. They're all 50 ohms of resistance is important. You want to get, yeah, this is RG8X, which is what I mentioned. But for the local comms, you don't want to use that. You want to invest in the in the LMR 400, it's called. It's this very stiff coax. There's one down from it, like if you really have to bend around, and obviously this is a nightmare to bend. There's one down from this, I think it's LMR 200. I don't use it because I've got this, but this is really low loss for your emergency communications. If you are running a base station in your home and you want to put an antenna outside or on your roof, you want to use this coax. You don't want to scrimp on the coax. You only buy it once and you'll get further. You won't be losing your signal. So I like this stuff a lot, just for the quality of it, you know. Is this some kind of weather tracking system? Are you talking about the map behind me? This is just my map. It streams publicly available information from loads of different sources. So I have, for example, and again, you can get pretty much everything for free. I just love having it all together. But all these lines are ham radio communications happening live. Now, if you go to a website called DX Reporter? John will know if it's DX Reporter. I think it is. There's another one. What's the other one, John, where you can go and look at all the live ham radio communications? So GG, like, you do you. I wouldn't be proud of transmitting without a license. I actually think it's kind of lame. And the reason I say that is you can, if you transmit on the wrong frequency, you can do a lot of harm. You can interfere with law enforcement, firefighters, ambulances. I have no interest in that, and I don't respect people who put other people's lives at risk, but hey, you do you. So let's have a look. Bum, bum, bum. There we go. Yes, is it an ICOM 7300? I have that radio, but I have it in my RV right now. This is the 7610, ICOM 7610, and that's the ICOM 705. Very, very high quality radios. Let's see, bum, bum, bum.
20S. And actually had to, we took out a small loan so I could buy the...
So you can hear how loud it is.
And Brenda bought a sewing machine, as I remember. And we...
You hear how clear that is.
The advanced and extra, which is basically the same thing. I would suggest...
There you go. So they're talking about ham radio licenses. Yeah, determined. I think so too. I just... You know, it's one of those things. I've had people write to me who work in like law enforcement and EMTs and stuff, and they have thanked me and said that they've had situations where, you know, people on Baofungs and stuff are, and there's nothing wrong with those. I have Baofungs as well. They were my starter radio, but if people don't get licensed and learn about the legal frequencies, that they're interfering with life-saving situations, and it's just kind of like... I think it's pretty lame myself. There's no excuse for it. Ooh, Ronnie Amsterdam, I do have a CB. It's in my RV. I've done some listening, even on a live, I did some listening to CB. Any radio is great. I'm just all for use legal frequencies. There's no reason that everyone can't have radios and all use radio legally. Even if you don't want to take a test, then you get GMRS. If you don't want to get any license, use FRS. Those are your walkie-talkies you can get that just, you know, they have channels. These can be unlocked to walkie-talkie frequencies. I have shown how to do that, but I'm very, very specific. I do that in good faith of people being honorable. that if you haven't got a license, that you only use those walkie-talkie frequencies, you know. So it's a self-policed hobby with 3.5 million people, and I think they do it pretty well. The fact that everybody has a great time on ham radio all over the world, and it's basically self-policed. So it's very, very rare that anybody on a government level has to get involved. You know, you have to be really, really an arse. Like somebody did, they got fined $34,000 by the FCC. That is so rare, I cannot even tell you, that they were transmitting and interfering with firefighters during a fire. Wildfire. Firefighters risking their lives, and there's somebody stomping on them, talking on the radio, you know. So Neil says thoughts on Meshtastic. I'm about to get into Meshtastic. Funny you should ask. Meshtastic, I'm not so expert or anything yet, but I believe it's basically along the lines of LoRa, which is very low power, long range radio, but it's very low power. I mean, they use anything, I even think in Canada, because I know someone who's getting it, I think in Canada it's a 1 watt max. It might be that you can have 2 watts in America. Let's ask ChatGPT. What is, you can see, I would know this if I was already into it, but I'm about to get into LoRa. So let's have, okay, here we go. I like asking ChatGPT questions. What is the maximum wattage in the United States for LoRa radio?
In the US, LoRa typically operates in the ISM band around 902 to 928 megahertz. For devices using LoRa, the FCC regulations under Part 15 generally allow a maximum of 1 watt, 30 dBm of conductive power at the transmitter output, along with up to 6 dBi antenna gain. That results in an effective radiated power of about 4 watts EIRP. So practically, you can't go beyond that without special licensing.
There you go. So, yeah, so I thought Canada was 1 watt, and it looks like the US is as well. The stuff's very, there you go. So Zero Foxtrot says 915 megahertz. So if you get into LoRa, which I will be doing that in Meshtastic, I'm pretty excited about it, you will get an antenna that is specifically for LoRa. So these sorts of antennas won't work because those are tuned for these radio frequencies, which are very different. They are not in the 900 megahertz area, and the power level is different and stuff. And with LoRa, I know that that is where you really want to get good coax with LoRa. As again, on 1 watt, you want to really preserve that power. And line of sight with LoRa is very vital. So, hello, Ree Mama. Hello, hello. You missed everything. You missed it all, but don't worry, we tend to sort of recap. Whoa, look at that, 23,000 likes. Thank you, everybody, that's amazing. I like ham radio too, Swim Lady 14. Am I listening to anything now? Yes. Well, I was before my live.
You're logging in just because he might come on?
Well, they're regulars, pretty much. And
so they're just talking about radio, probably the most common topic, but you're allowed to talk about things that, if you always imagine that there's children listening, that will give you an idea, because children become ham radio operators. You get scouts and Girl Scouts and all that. They get radio licenses. LMR 400. Nano, that is exactly what I was talking about. When you get into LoRa, you want the LMR 400, which is this very stiff stuff here. So it's very rare that you hear something untoward on the radio. David, I have not heard of Manette radios. What kind of radios are they? Are they HF or are they UHF, VHF, sort of handheld radios? Hello, Lordy Voldemort. There's a familiar name. Hello, hello. So Oklahoma says, bum, bum, bum. Hello, Mexico. X-Ray Echo 2. Hello. Hello, hello. It's really good to see you. I have spoken to Mexico quite a few times because I'm in Los Angeles, so it's not that far for me. Let's have a look. Bum, bum, bum. Looking through the questions. Oh, that's nice. AI is giving a summary of what I'm doing. I like the sound of that. Discussing radio equipment, legal frequencies, and LoRa. I think AI did a very good job of that. Glam, when I get everything hooked up, I will see if I can hear you. Great, in Indiana. Hello, Big Red. I apologize, Big Red, that I haven't done your video of the car, which you can see I still remember it because it made an impact on me. For those of you who like spooky stories, I know Oklahoma, for example, has had some encounters like along the ghost front. I have also had some very strange encounters, and Big Red had one as well, where a very mysterious orb was around an old car, and I asked him something specific. I think it's personal, so I'm not going to give it away, but there was a reason why there was an orb by his car, and I wanted to do a video on that. What do I think about SDR? I absolutely love it. By SDR, do you mean the dongle, the little USB dongle? Because sometimes people say SDR and they mean the software-defined radio in these radios, which most of the newer HF radios now, they're going to come with some sort of a digital assistance that people call SDR, you know. But yes, so Brigada's talking about, I love it. That was my second thing I got when I was getting into radio. In 2020, I got a Baofeng, and I actually got two, always get two. There's better radios now than the Baofeng. They didn't have these then. Again, in my link in my TikTok bio is all of my gear, and I really recommend these radios. There's the H3 and the H8. Pick what suits your budget, and they're amazing. But I got the Baofeng, two of them, so I could test to see if I'd program them right. You always want to get two, because when you start to program repeaters, the only way you know if you've done it right is if the other radio pings off. So that's why I say get two, and then you can go out with someone and you can get them into ham radio and that kind of thing. Now I'm blanking on, I'm reading the 20 questions at the same time. So what? Oh, SDR, right. So that's a little thumb drive. And in fact, I'm about to try something new with the thumb drive. You put it into your computer and you have a pretty wicked radio receiver on tons of frequencies. In fact, if you have antennas, you can pick up all the same frequencies as these really pricey radios that are much more than a $50 dongle, which is also linked in my bio. Those are little SDR dongles, and I already feed the aircraft information. I have an antenna designated for ADSB, so I feed to like ADSB, flight radar, flight aware, and I want to see if where I'm located, if I can possibly feed for the marine traffic. So I do have a little bit of elevation in the hills, so I was hoping to try that this weekend, and that's called AIS. Similar to how it's ADSB, it's AIS with marine, and then you can use the little dongle for that too. So, hello. People use ham radios and don't do the two-way part. Not sure about that. I can see that John is being amazing and answering questions. Hello, Rockford, Illinois. Hello. Kilo Charlie 9. Well, you know what I could do? I could fire up a frequency. Wow, look at... I could call CQ.
My car is full of bugs. It is? Yep.
This car is full of bugs.
You didn't put no fan on it? No.
Yeah, you can totally. They're great for people who want to listen. So out of interest, I'm just going to see. Let me, I'm on 7.256 on the 40 meter band. And I'm running 100 watts on this big one. And I'm going to show you how you call to see if you can talk to someone on the radio. Oh, Bouvet Island news. What's my latest Bouvet Island? I have an epic collection of satellite images. Like every week I collect Bouvet Island satellite images with strange shaped clouds, like a lot of straight lines, right angles, mysterious looking craft shapes in the clouds, which could be something like communications to submarines that might make the clouds behave in a certain way. I owe people a video on Bouvet Island for a giant, what looked like a smoke plume. Now, obviously, it's a volcanic island, but it hasn't erupted for 2,000 years, but there was a giant, like 50-mile, look like either smoke or steam, so that's the latest. Zara says, how far can I reach with a local repeater? You can reach as high as that repeater is its line of sight. So it could be anything from 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 miles, depending on the height of that repeater. If it's a 10,000 foot mountain, you're going to get really far. If it's 1,500 feet, you won't get as far as the 1,000 foot mountain. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of cloaking tech going on as well, myself. But I've seen some crazy shapes. And I've even seen flocks of little orbs. I have the satellite images of them. I've done videos in the past, you know. What do I think about the meteors over Texas? Well, I did a video on that, a deep dive. I only put up a video that was 2 minutes, 40 seconds, and I have actually written and done so much research in those meteors. I have about a 10-minute video, but I haven't recorded it yet. But I've got to do that soon, or else it'll be out of date with new news. But I think there's my personal theory. This is pure speculation. I do feel there's a correlation with not all, but with some of the fireballs we're seeing. Some of them are meteors for sure, but I don't feel all of them are myself. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. I also think it's very coincidental that this technology that's to do with making metal be able to go super fast, like hypersonic rockets and missiles, that will make a green cast with the ionized nickel in this special metal alloy that was invented by Monica Jacinto Reza and Dallas Hardwick way back. Well, I think that is in use now, and I think some of what we're seeing is that type of technology. And coincidentally, Monica Jacinto Reza went missing last year on June 22nd, and so did the man who funded her. And the strange thing, they both disappeared in kind of a hiking scenario. And a third person has disappeared, who actually disappeared 3 days after Monica Reza last June, and she was an admin lady at Los Alamos National Laboratory, which does all kinds of fancy stuff. So yeah, I think there's a bit more than we're being told myself. Of course, they're coincidences, Lordy Voldemort, of course. We speculate. We're just having fun here. We don't really believe what we're saying. It's all in good fun. So I'm on 7.258 megahertz. If anyone's got a ham radio fired up, I'm running 100 watts. I have an antenna now. The antenna I have switched to in my antenna selector. Let me look. This is how many antennas I have. I have a selector. You don't need all this stuff I have. It's impossible for me to have enough antennas. So, but right now I'm on one. It's one of my favorites, my HOA Buster, and it's oriented for more of a north-south rather than an east-west. But let me try it. And then I can always switch to a different antenna. So, is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. So I'm asking that so I don't stomp on anyone else. Oklahoma, that's very exciting. I immediately want you to direct message me some inside scoop. I will accept nothing less than Inside Scoop about Los Alamos. CQ, 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 CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Now, why do I say it multiple times? Because you see this blobby, plasma-looking line. When I talk on the frequency, that's what it's going to look like on other people's radios. They're not going to know the frequency I'm on unless I say it. So they're going to be looking for this. So the longer I talk, the more time I give them with the blobby-looking transmission for them to tune in and catch me. CQ, CQ, CQ. CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ. CQ, CQ. November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So road a chain, you learn it by listening. Oh, Lobo Squatch says it's got lots of contest folks. Well, if it's got contest folks, I don't want to interfere with that. So let me do a different frequency. I'm going to announce, just in case, that I'm clearing. I'm told a contest is on this frequency. I will clear the frequency. Have a great day, all 7-3. November Whiskey 6 Sierra clear. So November Whiskey 6 Sierra, whoops-a-daisy, is my call sign. And I can explain some of the lingo as I go. CQ, CQ means is any licensed station there listening. It's just the letters CQ, like Charlie, Quebec, but it sounds like CQ, as in I'm seeking you to talk to you. So that's a good way to remember it. So let me change frequencies. Let's go down a bit. I'm on 7.233. We can always try a different band as well. I have a map up here telling me what frequencies are good. So this is supposed to be good now. If I briefly go to 20 meters, hold on a minute. Get out of there. Exit. Whoops. Scope. Why isn't that moving? I'm trying to go to 14. There we go. It's due. I'll just see if there's any activity on the 20 meter band. But it's been quite dead for me lately. So if I tune to that. So it doesn't show much on that band. So I think I'm going to stick with this one over here. I just need to check, that I'm still on the same one. Hold on, I will be back with you guys soon. There we go. I'm just seeing if anyone else might be calling CQ. It's not Radio Shack, no. Good Beginner Radio, see my TikTok showcase. Look for the H3 handheld radio or the H8. These are them, and see which matches your budget. They're both excellent. So I'm just going to make that. That's moving way too fast. Hold on. There we go.
So when you put them up and you secure them, on them.
I just want to listen to the different transmissions in case
97 watts.
In case anyone's calling CQ.
That is my call sign, KK6R.
See how loud.
Give me the rest of it, but that's the end of it.
Very clear. And I'm just going to see if anyone else is calling CQ. I love it too, Phil. I love mine. Let's take a look. Legend of Larry, good to see you. Surrey, British Columbia. So, oh, there you go. Oklahoma's asking. Oh, Oklahoma, you're right. You know, for some reason, it doesn't go up here. It won't go on this monitor. This is an old monitor, like a really old one. So I think that's the difference.
The band.
Hear how loud and clear that is.
Radio 6 Oscar contest.
I already talked to him before my live.
Computer software and
So many people. All right, let's try another one. Okay. I'm going to pick randomly a frequency. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. So I'm on 7.184. So REZT, look in my bio on TikTok, and there's the school I reference has tons of free information as well that will tell you where to get your license, and if you decide to study with them, you can study. So CQ, 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 CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. See if anybody comes through. I have John's QSL card here. This is Oklahoma's postcard that he sends out when he makes contacts. Very cool. Look at all the antennas he has on his truck. Not too shabby, Oklahoma. CQ, CQ, CQ. Calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Now, sometimes it can take several minutes to get someone to come back to you. Hello, Caroline. Good to see you. So I have many antennas. Right now I'm on a wire antenna. CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Hello, Trace of Bass. What a great name. So on your SDR, you would listen to 7.184 to try and catch me now. Now you'd need an HF antenna, of course, as you know. CQ, 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 CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Now, if I don't hear anybody, I can try another band. I can also try another antenna. So let me go. I'm going to another antenna. Let's retune. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. TikTok, checking I'm a human again. TikTok makes me do puzzles to see if I'm a human. Oh! It's saying Sanic. I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to say that, but taking ham radio license, good luck with that. And welcome to the hobby. That's amazing. Do I have long form videos? Yes. In fact, on my YouTube, I actually have uploaded quite a lot of my live streams of this. And then I also have, and I'm getting into more longer form videos as well, but I do have a playlist on YouTube that has about 150 ham radio videos in the playlist. It was a shame because when my account got banned off TikTok, I had 700 videos and about half of those were ham radio videos. So it was pretty crushing that I lost my account. But I have 150 of those videos up on YouTube, and I post everything I post now on 5 platforms just because of what happened before. So, bum, bum, bum. Legend of Larry. I mean, probably at least another 10 minutes. How long do you need? Legend of Larry's thinking of throwing his radio in his car. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Now also, I might even try my little radio, my QRP, and try a different antenna, and that's a lot less power. But I heard somebody coming through. I've got two different antennas going. I think this one's probably stronger, my HOA buster. CQ, CQ, CQ. Calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. And the reason I say I'm listening at the end is so I train the listener to know when to talk. I truthfully don't know why everybody doesn't do that, because what you hear a lot of is people go CQ, 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 and then you hear people trying to contact them, but the person's still going CQ, CQ. So I encourage to say CQ, CQ, and listening. We'll keep going. We'll give it a bit longer. CQ, 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 CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Now, let me see. It'll be very interesting if I go to my little radio. So let's see, we're on 184 up here. Now I have so many antennas, I have an antenna switcher. So I just switch to this radio, and now if I go and tune that radio, now I need to, sometimes you got to remember to switch the microphone. So now I'm on what's called QRP. This is 5 watts. So we've gone from 100 watts to 5 watts, but I'm on the same antenna. So I'm going to check what's called SWR, and I'll explain what that is in a minute. That is brilliant. Ah, look. Can you see this? I want to show you guys something really important. You know how you hear all these people who do these viral videos and they're like, it's a mothership, right? Well, let me see if I can pull this closer. I really want you to see the radio here. So let me see if I can just put it on 1. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, there you go. So I want you to watch this. Now, what if I said to you, I think there's motherships coming in. There's alien motherships, and I think I'm about to see 4 alien motherships. What does that look like? Well, this is what these people's viral videos are. It's just transmission. It's radio transmission. It is not a mothership. I'm not saying there aren't motherships. I, of all people, believe there very likely could be motherships. But in the case of what I always see online, it is not motherships. Unless they're the ones broadcasting, in which case, hey, that's fine. But there's I won't say his name, but there's a creator who makes videos, and it's very misleading because he shows the little blip like that, and he'll say, there it is, there's the mothership. Well, I just showed you how it works. So, okay, so my SWR, what am I even talking about, SWR? This is one of the first things that was more tricky for me to get a grasp on because I had no background in electronics. If I had not had a near-death experience in 2012 that was supremely sci-fi, as sci-fi as any sci-fi movie you would ever see, that changed my whole life. I had no background in science. I had no interest in science or radios. I was Miss Artsy music, painting, acting, all that stuff. My near-death experience changed everything because it had a very strong sci-fi scientific element to it. And I've been researching ever since everything that happened. So very eye-opening for me. So SWR stands for Standing Wave Ratio. And in a nutshell, let's say if I'm transmitting, and let's say this is my antenna outside linked with coax. Well, the power that I put out is going to hit this antenna, and you want it going out and sending your voice out to the world so as other people with radios can catch your transmission. Well, what happens is there's what's called reflected power. So when you transmit, let's say on this with 100 watts, that's a lot of power. Some of it's going to come back. Well, there's a specific formula of how much you want to come back, because if that formula is wrong, you can fry your radio. Yes, I will absolutely try 20, Larry. So what you want with a standing wave ratio of that reflected power, you want 1:1 is the goal that hams aim for. So when I say I'm going to check my standing wave ratio, my SWR, icon makes it beautiful here. You just go SWR, you press this little play, and that's what you want, is those little, you don't hardly see it. So it's amazing. That's perfect. Now, sometimes it'll be red bars. That's where you can damage your radio. You don't want to do that. So, but that was one of the things that it took me a while to just grasp. What do they mean when they say SWR? So it's actually just that's it. So, right. So Larry wants me to try 20 meters. Why don't you throw out a frequency, Larry? And remind me where you are. So this antenna, I have a 60-foot element wire, basically a wire with a nice coating on it to protect from the elements. I climbed on my roof and I had a tree climber go up my tree with a piece of string. These are the kinds of things you can do when you're a ham radio operator, and it lets people go in the neighborhood like, what is she doing? So I had a piece of string, and I had the tree climber take up like 30 feet in the tree, this piece of string, and loop it back down, and I tied it into a loop. Now, I personally think this is genius, and I have not seen a ham radio operator yet do this. So now I have a permanent hoisting system. So I then got the other end of my element wire. I strapped one on my roof, one end, like to some little vent on my roof, and I used a bunch of cable ties to strap it on. And then on the other end, I hoisted the wire up the tree, and now it's pretty high up and stretched out. And then I climbed on my roof and I made it taut. So that's the antenna that I'm using right now, is a pretty inexpensive antenna using a 60-foot wire. So Legend of Larry, you throw out a frequency that's legal for you in Canada and for your license, Larry. I don't recall what license you are. I know in Canada it's different. In the United States, there's technician, general, and extra. So you only actually need, for local comms, using these little puppies, you only need technician. I encourage people to get their generals, which is the second license, and I encourage people to study for both at the same time, because there's an overlap of questions. So while you're filling your head with stuff you will then forget within a couple of months, you might as well get the two licenses. And that's what I did, and I passed them both on the same day. So Big Red, what was it called that a signal could come back? So that's the SWR, Big Red. SWR, and it's reflected power. So on 100 watts, that's quite a lot of power. But even on my little 5-watt radio, I want my SWR to be good. And the way the frequency works, just before we get the radio fired up to try and catch Larry in Canada, we'll try and talk to Larry. I'll try both radios to try and talk to Larry. So you've all seen the radio waves going like this. A quick little reminder that when you hear about ham bands and 20 meters and 30 meters, and you're like, what are they talking about? You know, does it mean I have to have a 20 meter antenna? I don't know. What it means is one oscillation of that frequency is approximately 20 meters long. So ham radio frequencies that are HF, which is what you're going to use to talk far, hundreds or thousands of meters. These are long radio waves. They can go up, like you can have 160 meters, like football field length for one oscillation for HF radio. when you're on your handhelds, they're much more shorter. So there might be 70 centimeters or 2 meters. And guess what? You already know now that means that the wavelength is approximately 70 centimeters or 2 meters for those frequencies. And that's just one oscillation, just like that. There we go. But I was going to show you just the standing wave. What is a standing wave is different than a regular wave. So that's, let's say, a scope just a reference point. The standing wave just goes up and down in the same place. It's not going anywhere. It's a standing wave. So it's just like, if I do it with my arm, it's like boop, boop. That's what the standing wave is doing, rather than like a snaky radio wave that's just going off like that. This is my understanding and my simple explanation of a standing wave. So you can see examples of it on YouTube and stuff with string. And by the way, you actually don't need to understand any of this stuff. I like to try and figure it out myself and then share with other people what it means. AI thinks I'm a boy right now. Thank you, AI. I'm getting a message from AI coming in. A radio operator is explaining his setup and how he checks his SWR. Thanks, AI, for that. So, okay, Legend of Larry's on 14250. So we'll try the QRP first, which stands for reduced power. So this is 5 watts, and we can even go 10 watts, and then if we don't get Larry, we'll try 100 watts, but let's start small. So we're going to the 20 meter band, and let's see what 250. Let's have a look. Larry says 250, and I want to tune. So let me tune, and let's just see if Larry hears me at all. Okay. To be honest, Larry, I haven't had so great conditions on the 20 meter band. So if it doesn't work, I think we should try 40. All right. Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. Oh, I quickly want to check my SWR as well. Okay, that looks great. Okay. All right. CQ, calling CQ, QRP. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, QRP, and listening. So Larry, let me write Larry's call sign, Victor Echo L07, Victor Echo 7. Canada always starts with a V and an E or a VA, LGT. So I'm not hearing Larry come back. We'll try again. Oh, has it moved frequencies? I think he said 250. CQ, calling CQ, QRP. November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, QRP, and listening. Hello, Ronnie. Good to see you. Hello, Caroleon. So, Ronnie, I messaged you on TikTok. I'm so sorry. I sent you a message that the interface is, I just don't like it as much on YouTube as TikTok. I can see your comments right in front of me here. So, so now, how do I up my power on this little radio here that's 5 watts, which is QRP, reduced power. RP is reduced power. I have this handy little bioenna battery, also linked in my bio with the Anderson power poles already on, which, trust me, you will become an expert in. If you become a ham radio operator, you will be like me. You will be a fiend with Anderson power poles. Okay, so now I'm on 10 watts. Let's just have a look. Yeah, I'm on full power, 10 watts. So we've just gone from 5 watts to 10 watts. CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, QRP, QTH Los Angeles, calling CQ, QRP, and listening. Hello, American Regulators USA. That sounds very formal. It's kind of like the FCC, American Regulators. So, I am not hearing Larry. As I said, you can see the 20 meter band for me is very quiet. The propagation where I am, I'm not getting much on 20, but I am getting more on 40 meters. Let me just try my other antenna. So let me just tune to my other 20 meter antenna. Okay, CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, QRP, QRP, November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, QRP, and listening. Now, if we don't, so John Zimmerman says 10 meters is open on the East Coast. So Larry, let's go to 40. So let's go to 40 meters. Oops, daisy. Sorry, I dropped quite a bit of stuff. It's because I have so much stuff that I tend to reference, and I know it's probably very annoying for you. This is how I know these radios are really durable, because I've dropped them so many times. So Larry, I am now on 7.184. I'm on 10 watts now, and then we'll go to the 100 watts. So let me just retune the antenna, because I've changed the frequency. So, whoop, might have to, I'll switch this one off. I don't want to mess it up. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. So again, you always want to check when you are on HF radio or VHF or UHF, really, if anyone's, in case they're having a conversation. Hello, Al Jadia City. Lovely to see you. Hello, hello in Lisbon. I've been to Lisbon. So CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, QRP, QRP. November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So anyone with a radio in here, you can tune to 7.184, or if you have a SDR or something, or even one of those like Kiwi SDR websites or something. Hello, Switzerland, 7-3 to you. Amazing. I absolutely love how international these lives are. I just absolutely love it. So Larry, we need an update from Larry to know if Larry in Canada is picking up anything. If not, we are going to go to 100 watts. We are not going to give up. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, QRP, and listening. So, oops. I don't hear anybody coming back to me. Turn up a little bit. We'll give it one more time. CQ, CQ, CQ. Calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, QRP, QRP, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Hello, Kilo Oscar 4 in North Carolina. How are you all doing in North Carolina? I did a lot of coverage in 2024 in September with the horrible Hurricane Helene. I actually got one of my manufacturer connections to send a case of radios out to people. It was just terrible what happened, so I hope you're all recovering. So Carolion says other countries issue them regulated by law. So we're quite lucky in the United States. You're allowed to buy a radio without a license, but you cannot transmit on it. Oh, the Typhoon I have not done a video on yet. Is that the one that made the sky go red in Australia? Was it in Australia? Shark Bay rings. So 7.184, yes. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, QRP, and listening. Just do want to quickly check the SWR again. Okay, still looks good. So I am not hearing Larry. So, and I'm guessing Larry is not hearing me. So let me go to this radio. So I'm going to switch up to 100 watts. I'm going to use my antenna switcher. We'll fire this one down. And I've made very, very good contacts on the QRP radio, by the way. So I am lower sideband if I'm on this 40 meter band. And that's a good way to just give a quick little lesson to show people who are new to the hobby and wanting to learn things, people studying for their ham radio license. What does a upper sideband and lower sideband mean? It's very simple. So there's our line that we're looking at here. So with an AM signal, like you listen to old AM radio, that stands for amplitude modulation. I won't explain right now what that is, but it's going to look like that with the strongest signal in the middle. So that is what an AM signal looks like. Now, if we are going upper sideband or lower sideband, it's cut in half. So that's upper sideband. And if we go down here, I'm literally just going to a different frequency, so you see the gap here. That's lower sideband. So that's what that is for people wondering what's upper sideband, what's lower sideband. That's what it means. And then while I'm at it, I might as well tell you really quick because it's just an interesting little simple thing. What is amplitude modulation? It is where you have the evenly spaced wiggly line of your frequency, but you're changing the amplitude, the volume and power of it like that. But the spacing of your signal is the same versus FM radio, when we all got to hear FM radio and everything sounded kind of more clear and everything. What is that? Well, it's different. So this time I'm drawing imaginary lines here. The frequency is always going to be the same as far as amplitude, but it's going to vary like that. So that's frequency modulation. So it's going to have a cap on it versus the AM signal that I just showed you. So those are literally, if you can kind of get your head around that, you're literally halfway to becoming a ham radio operator. So, Bodog, sad but can't talk to no one. How come? No one on the air? So, let me, right, I'm on a 20 meter dipole right now. Let me just tune up. And let me make sure I'm on high power. Okay. CQ, CQ, CQ. Calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So we're trying to talk to Larry in Canada. Now, Larry's very far away. I'm in Los Angeles and Larry's in Canada. I have spoken to Canada a few times, but it varies. Lobo Squatch got Australia on 10 meters. Oh, well, we're going to have to swap to 10 meters, aren't we? I'm completely envious now of Lobo Squatch. Hello, Kilo Golf 4. CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Ronnie, I'm on 7.184. Lobo Squatch is on 28.565. I'll try that one if we don't pick up anyone. Well, now I'm tempted to hop on. Okay, I'm going to hop over. Hold on. I want to hop over. 28.565. I'm just curious if I can hear them. 28.565. 65. Ronnie, I've aborted the frequency right now. Hold on. We're seeing if we can hear Australia. Hold on. 5. We hear them. Let's tune up. Okay. Let me go to my other antenna. So I'm not hearing anybody on 565. Let's see how many of my antennas I've got up. I've only got 2 up right now out of 5 because I've been having a little play around. So let me go back to 40 for Ronnie. Go back to 40 meters. Let's turn that down. Okay. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November, Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Oh, Ronnie says he has no 40 meters. Okay. Can I reach Norway? It would be very hard for me to reach Norway from Los Angeles. Not impossible, but I'd probably have to be up like in the middle of the night to do that. I'd also probably want to have a directional antenna, which I don't have. I've got kind of pretty broad antennas, but anything's possible. You just have to be patient. So Aikido says 10 was open. He had the UK. So let me see. See, these guys are chatting away.
In case it's our Santa Maria.
So he sounds. So he's in Santa Maria. So someone's in Sacramento, someone's in Santa Maria. Hello, Steve. We're just trying to chat with people.
What do we got up there? Some kind of 125 sunspots, I guess. It's and woke up a little bit today.
You hear how clear that is, though?
We're just popping all day.
Oh, Russell, someone asked earlier. I'm just getting into the Meshtastic and Laura stuff.
No contest because
Hey, Speed Racer, Whiskey 5, Echo, Romeo, Victor, good to see you.
Yeah, last time I turned on the radio was Friday night, and boy,
Santa Maria.
I didn't even turn on the radio.
So they just made a QSO. It sounds like they're going to have a rag chew. I have not heard from Alaska, but go for it, Speed Racer. Fire up your radio.
I wonder if 6 meters opened up at all.
You know, I never checked. I didn't even think to check.
So this is one of the things, of course, that ham radio operators do, is you can also just sit and listen. So let me move off their frequency. And let's try. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. So 7.247 on the 40 meter band, Steve. Okay. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Hello, Martian McKay. You came over from YouTube. Thank you so much. It's just much easier for me here than YouTube. I see all the comments much more clearly here. So thanks for coming over. Do you ever know who it is until they tell you? No, you don't. Great question. Until people tell you their call sign, you don't know who they are. And if you want, what a lot of ham radio operators do is they keep QRZ open. That is a website. You can also get an app called call sign, and you put their call sign in and it will tell you the name. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So I'm on 7.247. This has inspired me to put my other antennas up, because this one only goes really kind of north-south a little bit. I've got one that's a little bit southeast. Hello, hello. Is that Tercia? Thank you for joining the live. So Big Red says he's going to have an inverted V. Very nice. 45 foot. Whoa. That's amazing. See, I'm limited for space because I'm in Los Angeles. And, you know, remember, people don't exactly want to see big antennas all over your house because then they get nervous. They're like, what are you doing? So I've got mine pretty clever. I've got them almost invisible. They're going like thin wires that go from a tree to my roof. Some people do what's called a stealth antenna. They will put the wire around the eaves of their home. You can do what's called a drain pipe antenna. I have the best one. It's linked in my bio. My HOA bust is brilliant. You can clip it to a metal drain pipe. It is brilliant. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So DX Commander, I know those work well, but I don't have that height to put up a DX Commander. My neighbors are going to get uncomfortable about that, and I don't really want to draw attention, you know, for people thinking, oh, she's probably got a nice radio in there, you know. So Martian McKay has climbed towers attached to people. That is terrifying. Yeah, I'm frightened of the tower thing because I've seen the viral videos where the towers come down. We do have a coastal repeater system on the UHF VHF. We have the Papa system for the little radios. So I'm not hearing anything here. I'm gonna go to the 20 meter band again. Why isn't that changing over? There we go. So let me try one of these. Now, already to me it's a bad sign, the fact that I don't see other people on this, but for what it's worth, I will try. So let's pick a frequency, 14250. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. So we'll see if we hear anybody. I have, I didn't swap my antenna. Let me swap my antenna. This might be better. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Very cool, Legend of Larry. That is nice. I have 17-foot whips as well with my hex tenor, which looks like, I have it here to show you guys. You will save a bundle with the link in my bio on these. They gave 8% off this gear. This is what the hex tenor looks like, and you put the whips, telescopic whips. They start off like this, and then they go to 17 feet each, and you can make amazing antennas and contacts. That was the antenna where I spoke to Russia and Brazil and Japan on that. So frequency I'm on 14250. Oh, that's yes. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Well, Steve, then I'm going to have to try you, aren't I? I'm going to have to try you on your new antenna that you're talking all over the show with. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Again, for people new to the live, yes, it is SDR sharp. CQ means, is any licensed ham radio station listening to reply? It's the letter C and the letter Q. An easy way to remember it. It sounds like CQ. I seek you to make a contact. Some other lingo you might hear from ham radio operators is QTH. So I will demonstrate it and let you figure it out. CQ, CQ, CQ. Calling CQ, CQ, CQ. QTH, Los Angeles. QTH, Los Angeles, California. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. There you go. So I'm in LA. So QTH is your location. So you'll hear people go, what's your QTH? So this 40 meters has been much better for me than 20. So let's try Steve. Steve, what frequency are you on? We'll try Steve, who is in Mobile, Alabama. We'll just try all over the show. So I did do QRP earlier on here, and now I've fired up 100 watts on this radio. I am English. I'm originally from Birmingham, England. Hello, Kilo Sierra 5 Lima. 28310. Let's see if we can talk to Steve. 28310. Here we go. 28310. All right. So let's tune. And I think I'm going to go back to my other. Well, you know what? I'll try both. I've got two different wires up. Let's try them both. All right. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. So, hello, Dumfries, Scotland. Good to see you. Hello, hello. Right. Okay. CQ, CQ, CQ. Calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So we've got Steve, who's in Mobile, Alabama. Now, I have spoken to Alabama before, but this is the thing with radio propagation. Because what's happening while we just wait, I'll show you what's happening with radio propagation is we've got obviously our atmosphere. Well, what's happening is as the day and the sun changes, everything's changing height. So this buddy might relocate to here at different times of the day. And so here's me in Los Angeles, and my signal's going to do this. You want HF to bounce off the ionosphere, and that's how come I've spoken to so far away, like really far away. Like I've spoken to Japan, Russia, Cuba, Brazil. And so we call all this behavior of everything, the sun, all these elements. What is the sun doing? And we've got all this solar activity right now, which can be good or it can be bad. It can either blank out your radio or it can make a great ionized reflective layer that you can bounce your signal off of. So we refer to all of that as propagation. Basically, what's the behavior of everything doing that affects my radio signal? So let's see. So get back. Okay, hang on a minute. 28310, Steve said. So I'm on wire number 1. And so Ronnie is trying as well. So I'm going to come in. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So Ronnie and Steve, I'm now going to swap antenna. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my... Okay, let's try this. The only thing is, Steve, this one is more north-south than southeast to you in Alabama. CQ, CQ, CQ. Marcus, that's very rude. CQ, CQ, CQ. Calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra. Calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that. So, Marcus, if you're not going to be polite, no one's going to want you in the live. Just a heads up. We have really nice people that come in from all over the world, and we have fun and we learn, and I'm very honest about things I'm learning about, and I do my very best to help teach people who are new to the hobby. So you don't need to be rude. Yes, 28.310. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. I'm going to change radios, Steve. I'm going to try out of interest and change radios. Let's go from this radio. And Steve has this radio, so let's pop this one up. I really am a fan of the tuner on this radio. Let me see. Let's see if we do better on 20 meters on this one. See, for whatever reason, I get a lot of interference on this one. But we'll try. We'll try. We will not give up. Okay. I told you earlier what the SWR was, so we're going to check that. It looks pretty good as long as it's blue. Okay. So I'm on 14,250 now. Oh, I hear someone faintly, so I'm going to move along. I don't want to stomp on anybody's. Let's try 14,260. So I'm on the 20 meter band, 14,260. Hello, New Brunswick. 14,260, Steve. And if you want to try 10 meters again, we can. Let's just try 14-260. We'll work our way through the bands. We'll try 20 meters, 40 meters. According to my map over here, it's giving a readout for me of 10 meters, very poor. And it's going up. 12 is good, 17, 15, 20, 30, and 40 are good. But 10 is not good for me right now. So let's see. CQ, 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 calling CQ, 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 QRP, QRP. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, QRP, and listening. I built some of the antennas myself, but I did not build the radios. They are out of the box configured like this. So I'm on 14-260, yes. And there's a lot of noise. I'm in LA, we've got lots of buildings and I've got lights on and stuff. So I tend to, my best band is 40 meters. So if I don't hear anyone coming through, I'm going to swap to 40 meters. So these guys would have let me know if they can catch me. I will just try my other antenna. So CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Oh, Steve's catching someone. So Steve, did you actually hear me a little bit, or you just hear someone else on that frequency? Hello, Australia, Ash in Australia. Well, I can roll along a frequency, Steve, if that's the case. Let me go, let's go 14-270. 14-270. Let's try that, Steve. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. So if nobody comes back, I'm assuming I'm not interrupting them. So I'm on very low power, only 10 watts right now. It would be 5, but I plugged in my little BioNO battery that I configured with Anderson power poles to add an extra 5 watts to the radio, which is now at 10 watts. Oh, Steve says it's in use. Steve, you give me a frequency that's free for you. So Steve's in Mobile, Alabama. I am in Los Angeles. So I have 2 different wire antennas put up right now. One of them is definitely more north-south, which is not really going to work to get Steve. But I'm going to try it anyway, and then I'm going to switch to the wire that's more southeast. So Lost in Oz says 280. Okay. So I'm on 14-280. That is great, Southpaw, that you're studying for your ham license. That's awesome. Look at my bio on TikTok and you'll... Oh, I can hear a voice. Hold on. Now, I hear someone very faintly, we would say in the weeds or in the noise. So I'm not going to talk on that frequency. Now, what Ronnie, I would expect that I might be able to catch Ronnie in Washington. So let's go up a bit. How about 285? I think the rule of thumb I've been using is if you hear someone talking, oh, Steve says 14341. If you hear someone talking, roll up 3 numbers, basically. What did Steve say? 341. Almost at the end of the band there. Okay, so I'm going to try, let me try my other antenna. Okay. All right, Steve, let's do this. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. So I'm not using a tower. A great question. I've got a wire. It's about 60 foot, just a wire. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, QRP, QRP. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, QRP, and listening. Hello, Emergency Preparedness. Good to see you. 341, 14.341. Now, I'm only on 10 watts. So, and the propagation is not great for me for 20 meters, which is this band, but we're doing experiments to see if other people can hear me or if I can hear them. So yes, 341. CQ, 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 CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, QRP, QRP, and listening. So RP is reduced power. I'm only on 10 watts. I learned a lot of it myself and a lot with other hams that we call Elmers. Anyone who knows more than you. Oh, Steve did hear me. He heard me say something. CQ, CQ, CQ. CQ, CQ, CQ. QRP Los Angeles. QRP Los Angeles. November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Now keep in mind, I'm only on 10 watts, and I'm in LA, and Steve heard me in Mobile, Alabama, and I'm only on 10 watts. We're experimenting because I could put on the 100-watt radio, but I'm kind of curious. So Akito's on 28450. See if you can hear us, Akito, on 28. Oh, you're on a different band. So we're just going to see if Steve can hear me. Yeah, I think that antenna is my wire. And I have all of these linked in my bio, this wire. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, QRP, QRP, QTH Los Angeles. Calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Jason, thank you very much. That is a very sweet comment. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you. I love, everybody's so lovely. I get lots of messages from the Philippines, and what beautiful people can I say. I really hope I get to visit one day. So Steve in Mobile, Alabama says I'm being stomped on, meaning someone else is on the frequency. So Steve, do you want to throw out... So he is hearing me, though. Do you want me to go to a different frequency, Steve? We can try a different frequency. 7-3, November 7. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Dexter. I appreciate that. Yeah, you reminded me to say I have 150 ham radio videos on YouTube on a playlist. Sadly, I lost my first TikTok channel with 700 videos, half of which were radio videos. So Speed Racer can hear me. Oh, you can hear me on 28450. Okay, well, this is weird. Steve, I'm going to briefly go to 28450. And we'll see if what's happening there. Okay, let me retune. Okay, we're going to check the SWR. I will put this whole live on YouTube, and we have done a lot of educational stuff. So don't worry if you're like, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what she's saying. Everything I'm doing and saying, I have taught what I've been doing through this live. So if you go to YouTube later this evening, the whole live will be posted and you can replay it. So check the SWR, looks great. We want to see those blues there. We don't want to see red. Alrighty. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. Okay. Now I'm on a 20-meter wire, and this is the 10-meter band. And I have two wires that are both tuned a bit differently. Tell me when the skip is good. Well, it depends on where you are and what time of day it is. So, CQ, 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 calling CQ, 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 QRP, QRP. November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Shout out from DX3C. That is a great call sign. Wow. Delta X-ray 3 Charlie. Look at you with the DX call sign. That's amazing. Hello UK. Hello Ian in the UK. We have so many people. I think we've had like 36,000 people have been through this live so far. It's amazing. Trucker Jeremiah, good to see you. Hello, hello. Hello, Jersey Shore. So we've been kind of scooching all over the place. I'm just going to swap antennas. We've been experimenting. I've been trying to talk to Steve in Mobile, Alabama. And he could hear me, but other people were on the same frequency. I've switch bands now, and I just switched an antenna out of interest. So CQ, 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 CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. I do have the 7300. It's in my little old RV I bought to build a mobile ham shack. Live CQ call from a ham radio operator. This is AI talking to me, not referring to me as a man. This time, unlike last time. Hello, Brazil. I have made ham radio contacts with Brazil. CC is just south of Steve. Interesting. Manchester. Hello, Manchester. Hello, Brazil. We have got people from all over the world in this live. So I'm going to go back to 40 meters because that is where propagation is better for me. You can see immediately I can receive people, those white like plasma looking lines coming through. I think somebody's can hear somebody there. So this band is open for me, the 40 meter band. I'm seeing if anyone is calling CQ. They're just having what's called a rag chew, where they just chit chat. And they call it a rag chew back from the old fashioned radio days where there was wires with little fabric on the wire. And if you had a long conversation, it would fry the fabric. So they call it rag chewing. So now we're on 40 meters. So for the heck of it, I'm going to throw out again my call. Let me tune up. And the antenna I'm on right now is the one that is more north-south. So Ronnie, I don't know if you get anything on 40. And then I'll try the... So Trucker Jeremiah is on 40, but I've got a wire that's more north-south right now. I have another one that's more sort of southeast, where I was trying to catch Steve in Mobile, Alabama. But let's just see. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. So if no one comes back. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ. QRP, QRP, QTH Los Angeles. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. And to remind people why I'm speaking a long time is so it gives people a chance to see that blobby transmission on their radios, and then it gives them time to go and tune their radio in. So when you're on HF, you want to extend that call to give people a chance to tune into you. So I'm on 7.243. Ronnie, try your other ones anyway. I would try the 20 maybe. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. I can also fire up my 100-watt radio. So I was just kind of interested to try the QRP radio right now, where I have made amazing contacts. But equally, I could make it easier for everyone else and just swap to my 100-watt radio. So let's go 243, 243, whoops. Why is that not? I don't know why it's doing that. I'm pressing 40. Oh, there we go. 7243. Now this is 100 watts. So this will give me a lot more push than the QRP radio. So it'll be interesting to see. Okay. Now, make sure I got the right mic. To give you an idea, let me just show you how loud this one is. Oops. Hold on.
We'll see.
So you see how clear that is.
Hey, Bobby, should we closer start the 73 roundabout now?
Oh yeah, there might be a net
Yeah, we
on
should, but we have
14300.
Todd come in, so he needs to do his dissertation.
Very clear.
Somebody that uses it. I tried it a couple of times.
So clear.
Transformer.
All right, I'm going to pick a frequency. Let's go 7.255. Alrighty. Is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 6 Sierra. And I'm on 100 watts. So this is giving me a lot of push. Oh, Akita, did I just hear you? On 1500 watts. That's impressive. Yes, Wolf, you're absolutely correct. You need a ham license. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So I'm on 7.255, which is the 40 meter band. Awesome. Just add water. CQ, 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 CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So Akita says there's people on this frequency, but they're probably hundreds of or thousands of miles away from me because I don't hear them. But if that's the case, just in case, they're in North Carolina. So I'm in LA, so we're not, especially my antenna's going more north-south. Now, I will try, out of interest, let me go back to the other antenna. And this is the one that is aiming a little bit more towards Alabama. CQ, 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 CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So, Steve, I just swapped to the wire that is a little bit more southeast. Hello, Hugh. Hugh's in from Ireland. Hello, hello. Hugh, maybe we can do a demo of Echolink. CQ, 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 CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So there's a net on 1430. I do like checking into that net, actually. So I don't hear, I'm getting a lot of noise now. So I do like that net. So if the net's going on, I'll just clear the frequency. And I like to do that out of courtesy, just in case someone is thinking, okay, I'm going to keep trying, and then I've gone. I'd rather them know that I've cleared the frequency. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, wishing you all a good night. 7-3, November Whiskey 6 Sierra, clear. There you go. So now they know she's gone. Don't keep trying to dial in and listen. So now we're going to go back to 20 meter band. Oh, I know what I did. I put a screen protector on this. So let's see if the band's on. Now I'm going to tune up off of that frequency. This is the Maritime Mobile Net. And the clue is in the name of it, Maritime. It's to keep the sailors and the seafaring folks safe. It's very good what they do. So they take traffic, and traffic means any kind of messages. They call it traffic. To see if there's any vessels in distress. And then, okay, Aikido, I'll try you there. 275. Then what they do is they take any check-ins, which means you don't have to be in a vessel. You can be on land. So they'll say, now taking any check-ins, and anybody can just call in. And it's a very good way to see where you're reaching. So yes, Hugh, I got an ICOM 7610. I still have to learn more of the functionality. I'm so used to the 7300 and the 705. So, oh, the Morse code sound that's being heard. I think that is probably some sort of, actually, I think it's called frequency shift keying, FSK. And they do two frequencies at the same time. And you hear the Morse sound on two separate frequencies, separated by 7 hertz. I think it was 7 hertz. And that's my guess on what that is. 7-3, 3 Delta, Fox, 7-3. So Aikido's on 14275. I think I just tuned. There we go. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. So Aikido, did you say you're in North Carolina? Because I'm in Los Angeles, and I need to put up 2 of my other antennas that are more omnidirectional, because these are more directional and they're a little bit more north and south. South Carolina. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, CQ, and listening. Seeing where I put my phone. Oh, there it is. Q, I want to see if I've got Echolink on my phone still. Echolink. Logging in. So Echolink is an app for your phone or your computer, and you can yeah, I've got the Irish repeater in here, so we could have a QSO, which means a contact with Hugh, who's a ham radio operator in Ireland. So we'll give just one last try. So Kieran says 276. CQ, 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 calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra, calling CQ, 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 and listening. So Trucker Jeremiah, you're going to see 7300s priced really well soon, because the 73 Mark II has come out. Echolink is the name of the app. Yes, myself, the contacts I've been making have been on the 40 meter band. I put this on, but it's too thick. I put a screen protector on. I'll take it off. It's driving me nuts. Ah! I just put this on, but now my touch thing's not working, so that's better. Okay. So you can see the difference. For me, it's much more clear. But why don't we, for fun, Hugh, do you want to fire up your Echolink? So we have licensed ham radio operator in Ireland. And if I join the Irish repeater system on Echolink, which any licensed ham radio operator can do. So Hugh is monitoring.
Welcome to the Southern Ireland Repeater Network.
So now I'm going to talk to Southern Ireland. This is another aspect of the ham radio hobby. So I'm on.
Good morning, Natalie. Good morning to everyone on the frequency. Echo India 2, Hotel India. Hello, Natalie. November Whiskey 6 Sierra here in Ireland. Good morning.
Oh, this is so awesome. Okay. Allow. Hello, Hugh. This is wonderful to speak with you. I haven't spoken to you for a while. Thank you so much for making your Irish repeater system available to all of us licensed hams around the world. That is a tremendous contribution to the hobby. I love that you do this. How's it going, Hugh? Back to you. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra from Los Angeles. Back to you. So cool. Hugh's the man.
Very good morning, Natalie. Sounding excellent there, coming up to on your end on your device on Echolink. radio using UHF. And hello to all your TikTok viewers there on TikTok, of course. And sounding excellent coming through here to Ireland for the local.
Oh, we just lost the end of him.
On a Monday morning, I'm on your time is 1:33 a.m. UHF. But Natalie, you are being heard now on 2 meters. You've been heard on 70 centimeters and also on 4 meters, as well as Echolink and also on Zello. Zello is another app you can download that can be used on this repeater system. So you are coming through really well. You sound as if you're here in Ireland, coming through here in the local repeater system. I'm running 10 watts into a vertical clear, and you're sounding superb. Great to work you again, Natalie. Sounding like November Whiskey 6 Sierra, Echo India 2, Happy Irishman, over.
Thank you for that, Hugh. It's very, very impressive. And for people to know as they're watching the TikTok live, I'm just going to face my phone. So if they have Echolink, I'm going to show them the code that they need to plug in, the address of your Irish repeater system. So it is Echo India 2 Sierra India Romeo Golf -R. So I'm showing that on the TikTok live, and any licensed ham radio operators all over the world can use this part of the hobby, even with your very first license. And what Hugh was very kindly explaining is he's using actual radio as well as the app. So here's me just on my phone app, but in Ireland, it's linked to his actual repeater and going out to people, you know, with their 2 meters and 70 centimeter radios and base stations. So it's really cool. Yet another one of the many aspects of the ham radio hobby that is just fun and cool. So back to you, Hugh.
Fantastic stuff, Natalie, and you demonstrated that very, very well indeed. And also, Natalie, another huge plus about the Echolink and also the Zello app that I've used is when I'm mobile in my car, right? When I'm mobile in the car, I put the mobile phone into the little dock unit. I have the hands-free unit and up on the windscreen, and I can use Echolink while driving. And it's hands-free, no microphone in hand, connected to the Bluetooth system in the car, and I can speak all over the world to repeater systems all over the world, as well as the local repeater system here in Ireland, using Echolink. And I need no antenna on the roof, I need no radio in the car, it's user-friendly, and the sound comes through the speakers in the sound system of the car, as well as the internal microphone within the car from a mobile phone is used to hear your audio. It's a fantastic app, it's absolutely excellent, and there's no wires, no antennas. Now, people may argue it's not real radio, but you are. At this time, Natalie, you are actually coming out here on 3 different bands. You are on RF, being heard in Ireland. In other words, it's like as if you're using a radio here in Ireland. I know you're using a device there, but overall, you're coming out here on the radio. I'm listening to you on an actual radio, and your audio is coming out on RF through about 8 or 9 different repeaters here in Ireland. So you're being heard over quite a large area of the country, but everyone's in bed asleep because it's 1:37 a.m. in the morning, Natalie. But yours truly is still wide awake and up here and delighted to do this demo for you. November Whiskey 6 Sierra, Echo India 2, Hotel India.
Wow, that is fantastic. Well, for any of the wonderful people in Ireland who are not asleep right now, who are staying up late, I just want to throw out a hello from next to the Hollywood sign in Southern California, sending you some sunny vibes in the middle of your Irish night. This is very exciting for me to know that I'm broadcasting. Well, actually, broadcasting is the wrong word. I'll use it as a teaching moment. Ham radio, you don't broadcast, you transmit, because broadcasting is what TV and radio stations do with music and stuff. So this is just super fun. And so for anyone listening, and I'm going to put this whole live stream up on YouTube, and I will also cut a clip of our QSO here, our contact Hugh. Is this repeater, does it have certain hours when people can use it, or is it sort of up 24/7? Back to you, Hugh. Obviously, there's a delay because I'm talking to Ireland. So it goes through Oklahoma, by the way, no pressure to hang out, seriously. So I know we've run longer. Wally's in Ireland too. Oh, Unky, I'm sorry. Shoot. Thank you, Hugh.
You saw the text in the text box, okay?
Yeah.
No problem, Natalie. This repeater system is running 24/7. However, we do get people from all over the world calling in here. They call in from mostly North America, all over Europe, Australia, New Zealand. But for us here in Ireland ourselves, most people are in bed at this hour, with the exception of yours truly, of course. I just had to be sitting down relaxing, came across your live TikTok, and glad I could do this demo for you to show your viewers there on TikTok. I see you've over 200 plus people, and of course for any of those who are licensed and have a ham radio call sign, feel free to give a call at any time. But do keep in mind there's a 6-hour time limit for us here in Ireland from the East Coast, and where Natalie is 8 hours. We are 8 hours ahead of you now. For people listening and wanting to call in this repeater system, just keep mindful of the time difference, because they may not always get a reply, as most people are in bed at this time. But it's a brilliant app, and there's also another app for people who are not licensed. If there's people who are not licensed and wanted to listen in, Natalie, there is a Zello app, Zulu Echo Lima Lima Oscar, and that can be downloaded for free as well. And if they download that and search for a channel called the Southern Ireland Repeater Network, they can listen in live anytime, and they're more than welcome as shortwave listeners. And for those who are licensed, they can transmit, and we have a local moderator to allow them to transmit on the system using Zello as well. Zello is very similar to Echolink. I myself prefer Echolink, it's more user-friendly. From Echo India 2, Hotel India. Go ahead, Natalie, over.
Thank you, Hugh. And I would love for you to clarify something too, because I'm looking at all the questions coming by. And yes, I am using an app, but the important thing to know is in Ireland, Hugh is using radio. And so my voice here on this app that is used by licensed ham radio operators is going out on radio repeaters. I just happen to be using the app right here to demonstrate it in the live. And I just would love it, Hugh, if you could just explain a little more exactly what you've got on your end. Back to you. Steve, get Echolink app.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm using a Kenwood radio here. It's a Tango Mike V71A.
Oh, I have that radio.
Dual band radio. I'm on UHF. I'm on 430 decibel 875
Same radio.
megahertz, which is one of the repeaters here in Ireland. And I'm going out on RF and hearing you, Natalie, also on RF, as if you're using a radio here in Ireland. When you're using Echolink there, you're coming through on the Echolink, or you're coming through on the internet. Your signal is coming to a station here that's located in the south coast of Ireland that is transferring your audio on Echolink onto RF. And you're actually transmitting on 2 meters here in Ireland, in actual fact. So when you're talking there into your device, the signal has been sent through the internet and transferred there from the internet onto 2 meters and connected into a 2-meter repeater that's located in County Waterford that is part of this network. So as I'm listening to you now, and Natalie, I'm hearing you on the radio. And anyone that's tuned into our repeaters in Ireland here are all listening to you on RF. So you are actually, it's like using a handheld radio in your end, but it's the internet that's helping us out. From Echo India 2, Hotel India, go ahead.
Thank you so much for that, Hugh. That was super helpful. And I've just written the name of the app for people to just write it down. So anybody who is a licensed ham radio operator can talk using this app and communicate using this app. And you can also listen. Is that or for Echolink, I know you said for Zello. So people who don't have a ham radio license, you can get the Zello app and you can listen but not talk. And I just want to confirm for Echolink, even to listen, that you do require a license. Is that correct, Hugh?
Okay, Natalie, yeah. People can listen in on Zello. The Zello channel is Southern Ireland Repeater Network. And as you know, Natalie, transmitting Echolink is only for ham radio license users only. You must have a ham radio license
Yes, I thought so.
Echolink and transmit on Echolink. There's no way for SWLs to listen in on Echolink. They can't do that, but they can listen in on Zello. Zello, we have a Zello channel here dedicated to this repeater systems. For those people who are not licensed, they can listen in on Zello. So Zello is an app. They can download it for free, and they can search for a channel called Southern Ireland Repeater Network.
There you go.
And once they find that channel, just add it, and they can listen into this repeater system live. Unfortunately, they cannot do that on Echolink. If you're not licensed, you cannot use Echolink.
That's what I
So
thought.
that's where Zello is handy. It's handy for listening in. From Echo India to Hotel India, over.
Thank you, Hugh. I appreciate the clarification. That is what I thought. So again, for people in the live, I see a comment, Zello, no, sorry, that has nothing to do with radio. So, well, it does have to do with radio in that you're listening to radio operators, but you're right that you would be using the internet or cellular, but that's for unlicensed people. So that's what we've been saying is once you're a licensed ham radio operator, you are allowed to get the Echolink app and join different repeaters around the world and speak to other licensed hams around the world. Hugh was just explaining that if you're not a radio operator, there is an option that still lets you listen. And it's very educational to listen because you learn about the lingo and you kind of get a feel for ham radio and you hear a lot about the camaraderie. Well, Hugh, I know it's so late for you. It's the middle, it's so late. I'm going to let you get to bed. And thank you so much for the live demonstration of Echolink. This has been really valuable. I'm going to put this on 5 platforms, Glam Ham Radio on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. So your Southern Ireland repeater will now have even more reach. So wishing you a great rest of the night, Hugh. A big 7-3 from me. Echo India 2 Hotel India. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra saying take care and 7-3.
Just to finally, if anyone there wants to know more about the system, they're free to email me. Feel free to email me. My email address is ei2hi@qso.com. That's ei2hi@qso.com. Very, very simple email address. My radio email address. If there's any more questions about the system or want to get on or whatever, I will answer those questions for them. No problem at all. Feel free to email at any time. Natalie, I'm delighted to do this demo for your viewers. I look forward to joining you there again on the live there again now shortly. But 7-3 to all listening and anyone else there who's actually licensed. I see a few guys who checked in there on Echolink. Victor Echo 7 Lima Golf Tango in Canada and a K1DHH as well as yourself, Natalie, all signed in at this time. 7-3, Natalie, delighted to do the demo. From Echo India to Hotel India here in Ireland. Good morning.
You take care, Hugh, and big 7-3. Thank you. There we go. So I can see, just to clarify for some of the people in the live.
Whiskey 6 Sierra, Victor Echo 7 Lima Golf Tango.
Victor 7 Lima Golf Tango. Victor 7 Lima Golf Tango. This is November Whiskey 6 Sierra. I'm not sure if you were in the live stream, but good to make a QSO. Back to you. Yeah, I agree. UWE. Trust me, HF is my thing. But this is neat because where he is, this is radio. So I'm on an app, but I'm talking to people on radio in Ireland, which is cool. Oh, shoot. I keep forgetting to press the off. Sorry.
Yeah, Natalie, I am in the app. I am the one known as the Legend of Larry.
Legend of Larry.
And I was trying to get you on 20 and 40, and I was getting my exercise running around retuning my mobile antenna. So yeah, it's Larry here. Yeah, I wouldn't have my collection, but the band on for me was really wide open. There was a lot of signals in there. I just checked into the Maritime Net and that, but no, it's good to talk to you. I've followed you on TikTok for a while, and then you sort of disappeared, so it's good to see you back.
Thank you, Larry. That's awesome. Sorry, I forgot because I don't often use Echolink, and I think I didn't unkey quick enough. But yeah, I'm really glad that we have made a contact here, which is another nice thing. We've got such an overlap. We've had HF Radio, we've had Echolink, we've got TikTok, we've got all the communication elements with people. We've had 39,000 people come through this live stream today, and it's just great exposure for the ham radio hobby. That was awesome of Hugh. Shout out to Hugh again. Echo India 2, Hotel India. Thank you so much, Hugh. And Larry, I want to log you. I don't think I've ever logged an Echolink before. So this is November Whiskey 6 Sierra saying 7-3 to you, Larry. And I'm going to copy your call just to be sure. Back to you. Bye, Lobo Squatch. Thank you.
Okay, Natalie. Like I say, it's good to finally talk to you. Like I said, I've seen you on. I've been in your live stream quite a bit. Like I said, then you sort of disappeared for a while. I saw a few things on YouTube, I think, and that. But I saw you there today, so I had to stop in. But okay, well, we'll say 7-3, and it's been good talking to you. And see you on your probably TikTok live there later on there. NW November Whiskey 6 Sierra. This is Victor Echo 7 Lima Golf Tango 7-3.
So it's nice. It shows everyone there. You can see the call sign. Thank you, Larry. 7-3 to you too. So what's nice is to make a QSO, you can look. And again, I cannot emphasize enough, I'm not demoing emergency communications here. I'm showing that this is an element of the ham radio hobby where you can talk to people all over the world if you don't have, expensive radios. The day you get your call sign as a ham radio operator, you can get this app, Echolink, and you can log on and talk all over the world. And as Hugh very kindly explained, just because I'm using the phone app here in Ireland, it's coming through on his radio, which by the way, Hugh, I have the exact radio here. This is my 2-meter base station, the Kenwood V71A. So I have the same one for my Aries work. And I was going out on many different repeaters in Ireland. So, yeah, I'm on a cell phone now, but this is still a valid part of the radio hobby. And it's how you can get to know other operators around the world, and then you make friends around the world. I mean, Hugh's been coming into the live, and Hugh's a ham radio supporter of our show, and he's met lots of people in the live, and that's what the hobby is about. It's a hobby built on a lot of camaraderie. It's a nice spirit, especially with the world, how a lot of elements of the world are not based on harmony and agreement. I think we can agree on that. And in ham radio, the spirit of the hobby is just a lot of camaraderie. You don't hear about politics, you don't hear about religion for the most part. People can just be themselves and nerd out on radio stuff or talk about where they live. I've listened to people talking about cooking potatoes in Australia when I've been on either DMR or D-Star. I tend to catch a lot of Australian people on those digital modes. On the radio, on pure radio, I've spoken to Brazil, Mexico, Cuba, Canada, Russia, and all over the United States on the radio. So very nerdy stuff, Trucker Jeremiah, very nerdy. So Hugh says, Echolink is so useful for those who live in HOA. Exactly. So I know, I did see a couple of comments from people almost going, yeah, but you're on a cell phone. But remember, as Hugh says, he brings up a valid, excellent point. If you're in an HOA, which means, for example, like you're not allowed to put antennas on your roof or your balcony, you can't change the exterior structure, and maybe you can't even put a stealth antenna up for whatever reason, or maybe you don't have the money for it, or maybe you have another reason that you can't put up an antenna. Maybe you have a disability that limits your movement. There are many reasons people might not be able to put up a HF antenna. So it's one thing to talk on these locally. Pretty much everybody can do those. Well, if you want to talk around the world, what a great thing that you can have an app like Echolink. So it's free. You don't pay for it. It costs people who pay for the repeaters have to pay money, but it's another free privilege of the hobby. So I just want to make sure that everybody's clear so that they're not thinking it's some sort of, yeah, but you're on a cell phone. It's like, yeah, there's a cell phone app that is a gateway to a very, frankly, pricey part of the ham radio hobby. And the very first day you get your ham radio license, you can get that app and you're in. You don't have to go and spend like $1,000 the day you get your license to talk to people like we just did in Ireland. So I just want to make that really, really clear. So I think I'm probably going to wrap up. What even is the time? Oh, wow. We've done almost 2 hours today. We've had nearly 40,000 people come through the live. I just love that, doing this and the exposure to the radio hobby. I will be putting this entire live stream on YouTube. I've done a lot of educational little mini tutorials. We've talked about SWR, standing wave ratio, we've talked about AM, FM modulation. We've talked about bands, frequencies, getting your license, UHF, VHF, HF. Lots of things that anyone new to the hobby might feel overwhelmed with the lingo. So if you're new and curious, I'll be putting this whole live stream onto YouTube and then I'll cut segments of it. So, oh yeah, you're right, Oklahoma, 2.5 hours. You're right. I started at 3:30. I've started to do the live streams half an hour early because we have so many people in Europe, and I felt really guilty that people are like, it's 3 a.m. here. So I'm starting at 3:30 on Sundays now. So yes, Steve, I'll be putting the whole thing on YouTube, Glam Ham Radio. And as I say, I'm on 5 platforms now, and I do post different content. If you want a bit more of my edgier stuff on X, Glam Ham Radio, I post slightly different content than here, and Instagram, and then I'm also on YouTube and Facebook as well. So Irish Cook, hello Irish Cook, by the way. For some reason, TikTok has muted that comment, but I can read your comment. So Irish Cook says that to Bodog, Hugh, who we've just talked to, is a moderator, and he will mute. People will mute you if you don't have a call sign. It's one of those things. I opened the live talking about call signs. So again, I won't get into it again, why you would want a call sign. I'm very 100% clear on it, and I made it very clear at the beginning of the live. So go check out the YouTube in a couple of hours. That'll be posted by tomorrow. So yeah, it's really good to see you, Irish Outdoor Cook. Irish Outdoor Cook does fantastic videos with radios, and clearly is a cook, which I am not. I get people writing to me a lot going, because I've done quite a few things in my life. I don't do a lot of them now, but I was a shoe designer and an artist and stuff. And people go, what don't you do? Well, cooking. I do not cook. So Irish outdoor cook, she cooks. And you all guys as well, guys and girls. This is it's a hobby of friendship, and I've seen friendships develop over the years in the lives, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And so go follow each other, you know. You've picked up in the live people who might be close to you, or like I saw Steve having a QSO backwards and forwards in the TikTok live of where they were trying to make radio contacts. So it's great. This is what this hobby is about. It's about communicating with other people, and it doesn't always have to be on radio. So go make some connections. I will see you. Ronnie, thank you. I will see you all next Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, right here on TikTok. And I want to thank all my moderators. I'm not going to out them. They're amazing. So they're here silently working to keep the live safe and polite for everyone. And they're amazing. I do want to shout out some ham radio operators that you definitely should go follow. Oklahoma Weather, Oklahoma WX is amazing. He does Skywarn, volunteers as Skywarn. So when people in America have big storms anywhere in that region, he's one of the people helping contribute to safety information. He has a great radio channel. He does a lot of parks on the air. Steve Summersell is a new ham radio operator from Mobile, Alabama. He's doing absolutely gangbusters. He's proof how far you can come very quickly in ham radio. Ronnie is up, Ronnie with the fancy symbols, November 8 Whiskey. Charlie Romeo is a very experienced ham radio operator up in Washington. And of course, Hugh, Echo India 2, Hotel India in Ireland. So I'm going to say thank you, everybody. This has been just so much fun. You've all been lovely. And I will say, I'll see you in the comments, but I'll add one more thing that we say in radio. We end off, as you've learned, with 7-3. So take care, everyone, and 7-3.